Hey there. Welcome to another episode of 2.5 Chicks. This week we got another bonus episode, and this week it's with Brian and Monica. We start with artificial intelligence, get into love languages, and end on philosophical and psychological talks. Now, if you have any thoughts on any of these subjects, please contact us at 2.5chicks on Instagram or at our email address, 2.5chickspod@gmail.com. All right, that's enough of this. Let's get into the episode. Let's see. I spent the last few months thinking about where artificial intelligence is, right? So you have the current two big ones are ChatGPT, which is the text-based one. And now you're having a lot of these image, or they call text-to-image prompts.
I just saw in the news the other day where Tom Brady was suing somebody and a bunch of people are suing people because of their image being used.
So I don't know anything about that, any particular cases like that. The only cases that I know of are there's now enough information, because what the problem that people are having with AI is that they've gathered all this information for free.
Okay.
So all these images, all of this, especially for voice, because now they have the ability to clone people's voices.
Okay.
Before you guys came on, somebody sent me a video of an artist who's been dead for well over 20 years doing a song that they never recorded.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I'm like, that's awesome. Monica's like, that's creepy.
It's very much both. And so the big deal now is, how do you put the brakes on it?
Why do you have to put the brakes on? Let it ride.
I don't know how you put the stop on it. I really don't, because you don't want to be like a country that bans information for people. But at the same time, we've seen for the past, 10, 15 years, that the more information that's out there, the more false information that goes out there. And it can create lots of problems. Like, people react to this stuff. They take action because of these lies. So I just think that part is going to become more scary. But how do you stop it? I don't know if you can stop it at this point, because we are not the type of country that bans. And I don't think we should ban stuff. But how do you teach people how to take that information and try to understand what might be false and true? I don't know how you do that. We're in trouble.
We are. I agree.
We're entering in a new era of information.
Mm-hmm.
So not unlike how you have to sort of teach the young ones now how to navigate social media.
Mm-hmm. And the news. They're
Exactly.
actually taught now how to navigate the news.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How so?
In terms of, they are actually taught, like, not to believe the news all the time, and to learn to figure out how to find out which groups will tell you more of the truth than others. So, like, we've all said this before, Reuters, right? Mm-hmm. Reuters just tells you what happened. They try to stay away from giving you their opinion. They don't have op-eds all over the place. Associated Press tries to just give you the news. And I'm not going to name the others that don't just give you the news, but they have, like, I'll just say that there are many stations and networks that have like 50 opinion experts on there.
Well, don't we want to hear somebody's opinion, though?
No. No.
I agree, Monica.
Isn't everything a point of view, though?
No, because when you put all these people on TV to give their opinion, they're influencing other people. And sometimes people base their opinion on bullshit. So they're influencing millions of people on TV with their opinion. If you just tell people, like, this person was here and they said this, you could say, like, they've said this before and now they're saying this. That's a fact, right? Because you have recorded, you might have, you've seen that this person, has said this before. But giving your opinion, oh, they do this because this type of person really needs to understand, they're doing it. They're trying to be experts on analyzing why people do things or why things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they do lead the witness to believe what they want the audience to believe. And you're talking about millions of people. And especially if you put experts on there that people at their homes can relate to, they will believe this person more when this person may not be saying what is really true. Does that make sense?
It makes
It
total
makes perfect sense.
Going back to, yes, I have seen it. I saw a class where my sons took a class where they were trying to teach him. They didn't call it navigating the news, but they called it like how to decipher what's true in the news and which places are more likely to give you just the facts than others.
That is crazy that we're teaching this in school.
We have to.
Well, when I was in school, I had a teacher it was my homeroom. He said, every morning, I want you to bring in an article to read. And I guess that was, looking back on it, I get what he was trying to get us to do at 15 years old was, learn to read and learn to discuss it with your peers and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, we're 50. No one cares about the fucking newspaper at 15.
Oh, but they do now.
But exactly, like that's what I'm seeing now. I was like, well, I guess, you have your kids activated a lot sooner and, more active in politics and that kind of stuff. So I guess would be beneficial for them too.
And I don't think, a lot of people say the news purposely lies. I don't think the news lies all the time, because when my father died many years ago, he was in the paper. And I remember reading multiple articles surrounding his death. And most of the articles said some shit like that didn't even happen. Like so-and-so did this or he was this and he was, I'm like, where did they get this information? And I think it's because the reporters would probably hear, like let's say family members were nearby and friends were speaking. So the reporters took it because it was interesting to print it. And they didn't verify that it was true or not. And they put it in the paper. There was so much. And it wasn't like, the heart of the story was correct. My father was shot. He was killed. And he died on the way to the hospital, or he was declared dead. Those are the facts. We know that. But the saying that he was this and that, and I was sitting there reading the paper, like, who told him this stuff? It wasn't true. So you have to read the news with okay, what might be where have they laced it with?
Well, as unfortunate as that was from happening, nobody wants to read just the facts and then move on. It would be three sentences long. That's why we have movies that say based on a true story, right? Because nobody's going to want to watch this movie where, let's use Jaws, right? That's my favorite movie, so I'll use it, right? So this was based on a couple of shark attacks that happened in New Jersey back in the early 1900s, right? So, okay, 4 kids get killed in a river in New Jersey. Okay, story's done. Nope. Let's make a movie out of it. Now it's this killer great white shark.
Yeah, exactly. They want the exaggerated.
Yeah, they want
because
exaggeration.
That's what people want, the sensational. They like to read the sensational. It's almost like you want to read it and go, oh, did you read that? Oh my God. Did you see what happened? People like that stuff.
And then you know what else they like to do? They like to forget about it 3 minutes later and move on to something else. So as fantastical or as whatever it is, like right now there's a thing going on in the news, right, with the Bud Light. There's a commercial with the person that transgender came out and said, oh, I'm celebrating this many years. I'm fully transferred or transgendered. I apologize if I'm offending someone. I don't know what the terminology is. Transition. Thank you. Over. And now I'm going to celebrate with Bud Light. And now every bald, heavy, blue collar person on the planet is like, oh, I'm not drinking Bud Light anymore. First of all, you shouldn't have been drinking Bud Light in the first place. It's horrible. You got to stop drinking a beer because somebody transitioned. Come on. And then in 5 weeks, you know what? I know they lost billions of dollars in sales. And you watch, within a few months, people are going to realize that shit's so nasty, but it's cheap. They're going to just keep buying it again. And they're going to forget all about the transition person. It's just, we have very short memories. That was my rant.
But in terms of your original question, Demetrius, where you say, how do we stop the information overload? I guess people are going to have to try to figure out a way to watermark or stamp.
Yeah, that's fair.
Their information that's out there. So if somebody, let's say an artist releases a video, put a digital stamp in it or some kind of digital watermark in it that shows that it's theirs. And they are going to have to figure out how to do it so it cannot be replicated. It's encrypted, whatever, so that hackers can't duplicate it and make it seem.
Well, Monica, what if you had it though? You're right. I agree. Because you don't want information being
because then that way that's how people will know if something's real or not. If it's, stamp of approval from the original artist.
But let's just say, for instance, you're using it could be used for good, right? Not everything is horrible. Not everybody's trying to steal. But what if you got someone that's an unbelievably extreme introvert and like an agoraphobic who doesn't want to leave the house, but and they want to talk to people and they use their likeness and all they need to do is sit with a keyboard and just type the information, but their likeness, instead of them being on camera, their likeness is on camera.
Well, that's okay. If that's a personal decision somebody wants to make and they want to sell their likeness, that's fine.
Well, like I said, right? But
if they put their likeness out there and they don't want other people making money off of their likeness, then they're going to have to find a way to certify.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I know so many people would want to make money off my likeness. They'd strip me down naked and put me on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, if they do that, I'm going to exaggerate a lot of my body parts.
Yeah. Me too. I'll tell them, like, can you cut a little bit off of the chin at the bottom? Maybe make the eyes, like, not, get the bags of the eyes out of the way or something. So
it's funny because when you talked about AI, I just assumed, like iRobot or artificial, right? I thought about those movies. Not so much
it's not what it is right now.
Right.
Those are actual sentient being or things.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not even there yet.
But this is what's going on right now. It's pretty incredible.
It's terrifying is what it is.
I completely agree.
Somebody told me, who was it? I don't know if it was you, Demetrius, who told me. Somebody told me that, how I'm taking classes, that I could literally put the topic that I'm supposed to write about into this, AI, ChatGPT, and it will write my paper and it'll be original.
All right. So here's how, I don't know the science behind how it works, but for a lot of it, they tell you, don't take the information that is giving to you as fact because it might be wrong. It
might be based off something on the internet that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's false. Mm-hmm.
So like it's scraping all sorts of information and so it's like, oh yeah, we've heard of that topic. And it's just sort of,
that is crazy.
Together. It's listen, I use it for this podcast.
How?
So
you mean I'm an AI in the podcast?
So the way I use it is there's a couple of websites that in their back end, they use ChatGPT. So what they'll do is it's all text based, but what they have to do is they have to take the audio, transcribe it, and then feed it into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT will give you summary of it.
Oh shit.
When I first heard about this, I was like, there's no way it works that well. And it's fucking terrifying, Monica.
Yeah, it's almost like, you think about all those movies that we've seen where they have those smart voices in the background. I mean, right off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the Avengers.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, like Jarvis and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like you ask them a question and they just answer you. And then in the movies, it's okay because it's like, okay, this is a fake movie. There's nothing like that right now. But right now, it looks like ChatGPT is going to be that Jarvis.
Yeah. And the problem is it's fucking nonsense is what it is. And it's terrifying me. And I can't stop using it.
Because it's amazing.
It's so great.
Because you want to see what it can do. And you're trying to push its limits. And it reminds me, like, it's not like it, but remember Her, the movie Her?
Yeah.
How she knew what he wanted to hear. She figured out what he wanted to hear and she said it. She knew that the whole point of the AI was that she knew how to develop a relationship with a human based on what he would say and then she would say something back to him. And then if he reacted to that, and hence that's why he fell in love with her because she was saying everything he wanted to hear for his perfect woman.
I think that women across the world should learn something from that.
Yeah. Okay, Brian. Men too. So it is fascinating, Demetrius. I don't blame you for being fascinated. I am afraid to go on that thing because I'm just afraid of what data it's going to take from me. It's one of the reasons I'm not on TikTok because I hear they're stealing your information on TikTok. See, that might be false news I read, but
no,
isn't everybody stealing your information?
Pretty much. Like you don't exist in a bubble.
But I think TikTok goes beyond that. And I don't know what the beyond that, I can't quantify the beyond that, but I do know that TikTok goes past what everybody else does.
I think it's because it's an outside, it's either Russia or China.
It's China.
So it's
China.
like
China's stalking you.
Yeah. So it's their servers and we don't have any jurisdiction over that. So they're like, God damn it. They know so much about us that we don't want them to know. And it's just like, well, whatever.
Yeah, because it tracks you where you go. It tracks what you buy. It tracks everything about you.
Yeah.
it feeds on you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the hardest thing to do was walk through a backyard without stepping in dog shit? Yeah. Right? I mean, that was like, or like whose house you're going to go to drink out of the hose. This was how life was difficult. Now, oh my God, you got all this stuff. You got kids trying to commit suicide all the time because they're getting bullied because of this stuff and everything going on. And I don't know. It's a terrifying world where I'm going to move to a different country when I retire.
I think you need to move to a different world.
Yeah, I need to move to a third world country.
Well, the astronauts that we just sent, are they going to the moon or to like Mars or some shit?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen anything on that. Well, I try to stay in a bubble as much as I can.
I do know that we're sending people to the moon, but we're sending them to the moon so that eventually we can go to Mars. Like that.
But are they sending them to the moon to actually send someone to the moon this time?
We're sending them to the moon because we want to develop a station on the moon. That I do know. We want to put like you see in the movies, but you know how like Matt Damon in what was that movie, Mars? The Martian?
The Martian.
Yeah,
The Martian, where he was like a little station on Mars and they grew food and they kind of lived there, where they want to do that on the moon.
Okay. I still have to say I'm one of those people who still don't think we landed on the moon, but you know.
Oh boy, who filmed it?
I'm just one of those. I just think
I think we did.
Have you ever seen the Nevadan desert? It looks an awful lot like the moon. It's terrifyingly familiar and similar.
Well, if we didn't go there before, I do think we are capable of going there now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just think that there's no point to it unless you said like it's going to put a little bit of
they're trying to go to the moon,
distance
to
between
study the
us
moon,
and Mars,
and possibly having some kind of experimental station on the moon. I don't know what it's called. I don't have all the details, but they are going to build stuff on the moon. They're going to try to grow stuff on the moon.
Do you ever watch the movies though, where they and the news and all this stuff, and they talk about Mars and they talk about there used to be life on Mars, possibly there was water. Doesn't that just tell you that Mars maybe had its chance and like evolution decided to not have any life there anymore? Why are we trying to go back to it?
Mars, they believe has water frozen underneath. Honestly, I think it's because we're fucking up the Earth so much. They figure we need to go and fuck up another planet. That's just my political view.
I think we were on Mars. I think we did fuck it up, and then we went to Earth.
Oh, jeez!
And now we're gonna fuck this up.
Now we're gonna go fuck up Mars again.
Yes. I told you, Monica, we just need Thanos to snap his fingers.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring space into this because talking to Kevin on Sunday for like a good 20 minutes, he was trying to convince me, how do they know how much planets weigh? And I was trying to figure out, again, this is me being a bad interviewer and not wanting to talk about it, but why is this taking up space in your mind?
Yeah, I agree with them, though. I have to tell you, I know that sounds horrible, but think about that, right? This planet is full of gas, but it weighs this much. It's full of gas. Air gas, right? Liquid gas,
There's a science to it.
I get it.
There's a science to it because you know how much the gases weigh. They kind of can decipher what size the planet takes up, right? And its diameter. So they can kind of give a guesstimate of how much a planet weighs based on the gases they know are on its surface. They probably are underestimating, if anything, because they can't really know what the planet is actually made of, besides the gases. So they're probably underestimating it. It's probably heavier than they think, or maybe it's lighter.
That's what Kevin's deal was. He's like, we haven't gone to these planets to, take a core sample.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm like
how do we know that these gases aren't foreign? Maybe these gases weigh less than anything, right? Maybe they're just visual gas. We've not gone there.
So maybe they can just preface it by saying this is a guesstimate.
That's fair.
They always say theory.
Exactly. So this really bothers Kevin. Okay.
I got to tell you, I'm kind of on board with Kevin on this one.
Listen, I understand and you can be on board, but my question for both of you is, why is this taking up space in your brain?
Because as you get older, this is just my opinion, right? This is my thought process. We're getting older, right? We learn a little bit more about life and ourselves. And, we see people, we're getting at the age now where we see more death than we see life. Unless, family members are out, right? But you start to think about your existence, and everybody tells you, you're made of electricity and water and energy never dies. So you might go someplace and the universe becomes a very interesting thing, right? Because if you start thinking that you're the only ones here in this universe, you're a total human being, right?
Mm-hmm.
To think that we're alone in this universe. So the vastness of it, and yes, the weights of the planets and all that, these things are just big marbles floating around in space, right? How do I know how much it weighs? Maybe you could spin it on your finger like a basketball. Who knows?
My issue with his thought process wasn't that he had the thought. It was that it was a thought that was distracting him for the work he was supposed to be fucking doing. That's my issue.
Okay.
But that's Kevin.
It's not Kevin.
That is Kevin. Kevin
Isn't it?
always brought up the most random subjects. Sorry, Kevin. I'm dissing you right now, okay?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing, Monica. He did make you
Kevin
think.
would always bring up the most random topics when we used to work together, and you just sat there and looked at him like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, but then later
He
on,
loves to do that. So that's Kevin. If
Well,
you talk to
Demetrius-
Kevin, that's the caveat about talking to Kevin.
Right.
You
Why
don't
do
know
you
what
think
shit is going to come out of his mouth
why do you think Demetrius still talks to Kevin?
because he keeps you thinking.
No, he's upsetting me at this point. It's been a year of this, of nonstop recording every week, and now I'm upset because I thought he was going somewhere.
He's going
I don't
beyond
know.
the final frontier. You're just not listening.
He don't even like Star Trek.
It sounds exactly like Kevin. Like, I'm not surprised he was thinking that. It's like, yeah, that's something that would come out of his mouth.
It surprised me, and that's what upset me, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, what the fuck is this, man?
You could have just told him, you know what? I got better. You know what? I have better shit to do than to listen to your inner ramblings.
The thing is, I don't have anything better than that.
And it's
Okay.
still bad.
But that's not his fault.
It's not his fault that he had the thought. It's my fault for not being.
It's your fault for listening.
No. It's well, yes. Kevin's the brother I never had.
Mm-hmm.
He's my age. We have the same experiences. We get it. We connect on that level. It's cool to have a sibling in that age range. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always the youngest person in the room, and that's fine. I sort of live my life there. That's fine.
You're welcome.
So having somebody that I can just sort of go back and forth and have experiences with and have a fantastic friendship with is just cool. I loved it.
Here comes the big butt, Monica.
Every once in a while, I've realized this is a problem. Once I explain this, I'll tell you that I explained the same thing to Bobby and Michelle, and they both looked at me like, huh. All right. So
Sounds like your hang up here, but go ahead.
totally is. And I don't know how to get past that. I guess that's my issue.
Okay.
Every once in a while we'll be talking and he'll say something that reminds me that he's like, oh yeah, you told me that, or he'll bring something up that I said years ago in a way that I'm just like, why do you still remember this? Like, I don't even remember saying this to you, but you remember that I said it and now you're spitting it back to me. Yeah, I remember you told me that. Yeah, we fucking talked a lot.
That's a good thing, though. He's listening to you. He's hearing you.
That's exactly what Michelle said. And you're right. You're absolutely right. My issue is that it reminds me, it's like a reminder to me that, oh shit, I was vulnerable once and I told you something.
Oh,
that for
God
whatever
forbid
reason,
you were vulnerable.
it's not even that. It's
What
that.
are you, like a gangster rapper?
Absolutely. You didn't know my side gig?
Yeah, but
I have an
you
image.
know, you're not going popping caps and, getting teardrop tattoos. It's okay to be vulnerable.
You don't know what I do. There's just a lot of makeup I have on right now. So anyway, it was just I don't like the way he goes about spitting information back to me. I'm like, I thought we were just having a conversation. Like, I don't like to, for whatever reason, I don't like to reminisce the way he likes to reminisce. I like to move forward in a relationship, like move forward in a conversation. Like, why are we talking about what I told you fucking 3 years ago? Let's talk about
Because it may be relevant now. It might be just like, when the Terminator came out, and now we're living in a world where AIs are really real. It's relevant. Maybe something 3 years ago shaped the path that you're on now.
I just think he's fucking with me. That's what
I was about to say the same thing. Kevin loves you very much, but he loves to fuck with you and piss you off.
That's exactly what I think it is, the bottom line.
Yeah.
He knows I don't like to hear my stuff back to me.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
wants
like
to piss you off. He wants
I
the
don't like to hear.
reaction.
That's exactly what I said, Monica.
Yeah,
All right,
it's not
now
that
we're
he
here.
doesn't. It's not that he doesn't love you. He loves you very much.
Right.
And I'm getting serious right there. He does. But I also think he loves to piss you off and loves to fuck with you. So
Yeah.
that's why he's doing it.
And it bothers me. And I just want him to stop. That's all.
But see, Demetrius.
That's how he shares his affection with you.
He's got to work on that, man.
Yes, I agree. I agree with Brian there.
Burly board.
That's how he shows
work
you
on
he
that, man.
loves you. That's how he shows you he loves you, that he remembers the stuff you said. I guarantee you that if there are people in Kevin's life that he has known for years that he doesn't really give a shit about, and they've told him stuff 3 years ago, and he doesn't remember a damn thing they said, but he remembers what you said. And even though he's throwing back in your face to piss you off, he heard what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way he's showing his love. Because there are people that he's probably talked to and he doesn't care what they have to say. He doesn't listen to what they say.
What I'm saying is he needs a new love language.
His love language is abuse and tease.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
That's it.
He loves to be abused.
Okay.
Yeah, he could take it. Oh, he
He
can. Take
can.
it.
He loves verbal abuse.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I'm not a fan of it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a fan of his love. That's what I'm saying.
Don't shut that out. Don't shut that love out. Any love is good love. You take what you could get.
Is it though? I don't know.
That's what they said in the song. You ain't seen nothing yet.
I think he is.
How do you show your love, Monica?
Yeah, what's your love language?
Acts of service.
Mm.
Oh, servicing someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not sex.
That's not your love
It's
language?
not physical. It's not physical. It's acts of service and quality time.
Okay. So you're saying like, oh, you did the dishes for me. That's so nice. You want to cuddle on the couch and watch a movie? That's your love language?
Yeah, I would wash like their clothes, or if they needed something, I would make sure they, I got what they needed. I mean, it's how I show my love to my kids. My daughter wants a babysitter. I go, okay. If I can't do it, I say I can't do it. But I don't say to her like, I don't take care of kids anymore or whatever. You're on your own.
You're not my mom?
Okay, I'm staying away from that. I'm talking about me. But I don't do that to my daughter because it's like, yeah, I know she has a kid. I know, yeah, you could say you shouldn't have had kids. They're your kids. But I also know that she needs to sometimes do things so she's happy. And she's happy. The child is happy. So I help out when I can. That's the kind of stuff I do for the people I love.
Okay. And that carries over into your relationships outside your family.
I try to. I'm not really good at that with all of my friends. I try to be, though. I've recognized that.
No, I think you're an amazing, wonderful, unbelievable friend. I don't know what kind of girlfriend you'd be, though, because you can't be there for too many people a lot. You're a little stingy with your time.
Yeah, but I have so much going on.
I know. You always have so much going on.
Yeah, it's like I keep thinking like, oh, I won't have so much going on next time. And I do.
And you
always do.
Yeah, you always find
I always
something
have
new.
something going on.
Isn't that the
I don't know.
opposite of stingy with your time?
Well,
I'm stingy with my
their
time for a lover.
Yes. Yeah, that's where we were going.
And that's something I have to figure out because I am stingy with my time. I'm not stingy with my time. I just have so much time going out. I get anxiety actually when I know that, like, if I have a boyfriend that gets mad about the fact that my time is so spread thin, then I get anxiety and I just don't like that. So I don't know. Honestly, Brian, I have been thinking a lot lately, and I think I'm making my peace that I might end up alone.
Oh, that's not going to happen. Somebody
I
asked
think it
me
will.
to ask you, are you doing okay without having the milkman around? And is the milkman
Who
still
said the
coming
milkman's
around?
not around?
No, or
Milkman's-
is the milkman still coming around? Literally.
Yes, he is.
Okay. She was wondering, how does she feel? Like, I mean, why don't they just work out?
Nah, he's going to move to Florida, and I am not moving to Florida. I mean, no offense to Floridians. It's just not for
All
me.
offense
Florida's
to
not for me. Yeah.
Is it the weather or the politics, Monica?
It's the weather.
She had to think about it.
Yeah, I did. I don't like, obviously, I don't hide it. I'm a liberal. I don't like the politics, but it's not the politics. It's the weather.
Okay.
It's hot in the summer there. I cannot do that hot.
It's
I can't.
hot
And
in the
humid.
summer everywhere.
Yeah, but it's really humid, Brian.
Oh, New Jersey's not humid?
Not where I live.
Oh, well, that's true. It is a little
That's
bit cooler
true.
up there. Yeah, that's true.
I don't like humidity, like excessive humidity. I can't stand it. So I don't think so. I don't think I can handle the weather.
Okay, but he's not going to be moving to Florida for a while.
Yeah, so he and I will probably hang around for a while.
Okay.
But I have realized one thing, that if I decide to start dating again, I am going to tell the milkman that I can't see him anymore, because I can't see two people at once. I can't. I don't like it.
You can. You just got to ask Tess how to do it.
I can't. It's not me. I'm sorry. No judgment to anybody else who can. I just can't. So if I decide to start dating again, I will have to have a talk with the milkman that he and I will not see each other anymore. But right now I'm not. So I'm happy to be seeing him. We get along.
This guy, but Monica, this guy is telling you, oh, if you go out and you meet someone, that's cool. You don't have to tell him anything.
He is, and I appreciate that. No, I can't. I know.
You didn't think you can have a milkman, and here you are.
But I have a milkman, but I
know.
Do not have to. I know. I don't know. Maybe the only way I would do it, Brian, is if I meet somebody new and I tell them that there's a milkman.
That's fair.
Then I would do it. Then I would see where it goes. But the other person
have to tell them,
has to know there's a milkman.
Yeah, you could tell them, like, I've been seeing someone for a while. It's nothing serious. It's casual. Mm-hmm. Be honest. And, chances are there's going to be people out there.
Yeah, but I can't.
I got no problem with that.
But I can get a sense of if I'm dating someone, I can get a sense real quickly that if I tell them this, they're not going to like it.
Well, it depends.
Like they're going to be bothered with it.
Who knows? Look at Tessa's circle. They love that conversation. They're like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, but
there are people out there that don't mind.
I want a monogamous relationship.
I get that.
So I don't want somebody who thinks that because I have a milkman means that I'm going to eventually want a polyamorous relationship.
Oh, I get that. But look at my situation, right? I was very upfront with Em. She knew. She told me, just don't bring me an STD. There are people out there that can kind of accept you still trying to find yourself and trying to find the person for you.
That's a good point. I would have to tell them, like I said, that the milkman exists and that I see the milkman. And if they don't accept it, then I don't know what I'd have to do. I'd have to make that call then. But
go back and tell all their friends, who's this fucking milkman?
I know.
Who just still delivers milk?
Exactly.
No, we had stopped seeing each other because of my arm. Because I have problems with my rotator cuff.
So you couldn't do that for him?
It's another arm.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have another arm, Monica.
So I found out, my doctor told me that what's wrong with my arm is not that, like, I have like a tear, like, like a paper tear, that it's that because I have calcification, or calcific bursitis, I think he called it, or tendonitis.
Yep.
He says that it's created like a spur.
Yes.
In my shoulder. And so what's happening is every time I move it, the rotator cuff tendons are, I know this is going to sound fairly bored-ish, it's grinding against the tendons with the calcification. And it's not actually that it's tearing it, it's actually making it thinner.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thinning it out. And he's saying that if I'm not careful with my arm, eventually it's going to thin it out to the point where there is no more.
So basically, Dee, what I'm hearing now after our conversation is that if you continue to manually stimulate the milkman with your arm, you're going to tear it out. Right? Because she said, I had to stop seeing the milkman for this reason.
No.
You said
that's not what I meant.
Of your arm.
I did. I went into the whole description about my arm because it was so bad. The calcification was so bad. I could not move my arm no matter what. I couldn't lift it. I couldn't grab anything. I couldn't type nothing. So that's why I didn't see him and it also hurt when I lay on my back. So yeah, that's fairly bored right there. Bro. That's why, because I couldn't lay on my back.
Monica, did it hurt when you opened your mouth? Did it hurt when you used your other hand?
Well, that would be no fun between him and me. We actually like other stuff.
Okay, I'm
not left-handed, so I can't use my left hand.
Oh, there you go. She looked around.
Shit! I just realized I left the door open into my office, and my kids might be hearing this whole thing. Oh well.
Oh, they're not listening. Trust me.
They're almost adults. It's fine.
So yeah, you can tell M the milkman is still around, Brian.
Okay, good.
What other question do you guys have?
Let me see. I mean, we talk about a lot on the show. Is there anything that you want to talk about that, like maybe sometimes on the show, you know, I'm a loudmouth and an interrupter, and Tess is a little more analytical, but is there anything that you feel like you're getting like, I want to talk about this, about me, about this, make it about yourself? What do you want to talk about? Is there any, I'm not saying that you need dark secrets or anything like that, but is there anything that you say like, you know what? I want to brag about myself, or I want to talk about myself about this. Insert Jeopardy music.
I like to talk about school stuff. Like we're learning right now in the class I'm taking about communication and being on Teams. And I love it.
Teams, the Microsoft version, or
no, not the Microsoft, like being on a team.
A team,
and participating in what they're now calling teaming, where they take people from different functions across, you know, you could be across different companies or within the same company, have different, and how do you get people to be an effective team?
Okay.
You know, what makes great leaders? What makes great team members? What makes a great team? I love to talk about that kind of stuff.
Okay. I remember you used to always make me take those tests. You know, what person are you? Are you in the red quadrant, the blue quadrant? Are you? It's like, Monica.
I love to talk about anything philosophical or psychological.
That I will say is true.
That. So if it was me, I'd probably say I would talk more. Let's talk about something philosophical today.
I was like, she was going to say filthy. She was going to say filthy, just so you know, D. It started off as filthy, but then philosophical came out. And you know, you could have talked to Tess if you want to talk about teams. She's been teaming up with people for years.
I knew that was coming.
That's not the kind of team I'm thinking about. I'm actually thinking about a team that gets something else done.
She does that at work too, but I just like to bust her chops even though she's not here.
She might actually like to talk about that too. Because I could see Tess being into that kind of stuff too.
Oh, I agree with you. These are both very strong, independent women that like to boss guys around. So yes, I could see you guys doing that.
Boss people around.
Oh, shit, that's what I meant. But yeah, I remember like when I sat next to you for all those years, it was like almost like she was probably sick of me talking about my problems, but I think she secretly enjoyed it because she always gave great advice. Like you always were like, you thought it out. Like you think about it. I do enjoy it.
I mean, that's what I mean.
And then she would come back the next day. You know, bro, I was thinking about what you said. She would go home and take homework home. So you know, she likes to talk about this stuff.
I do. I like to talk about people's decisions and why they made decisions.
Okay.
Why we do things. Why do human beings do the things that we do? I love to talk about that. I love to analyze that, overanalyze it, all kinds of things.
Okay.
Anything. If you're an angry person, why are you angry? Like, why, what makes you angry? What is deep inside you that's making you angry? And I don't like to do it because I want to use it against you. Cause Brian, you know that I very rarely ever I am not Kevin.
Oh no, I was just going to say, obviously, making people angry is things you bring up from 3 years ago. That is an obviously anger bringer. Normally that happens in a relationship between, you know, lovers. You know, nobody usually just
you start to develop resentments in relationships, right? And so then at the point where you get hurt, you bring up something you know will hurt your partner back.
Yeah,
that's what it is, Demetrius. You and Kevin are partners.
Yep.
I like to understand why people do the things they do. I love to understand the why. My son was saying the other day to me, like, when did you become so over analytical? I don't know.
Do you not know me?
Yeah, I don't know.
You think so literally that you've been an analytical thinker your whole life.
Yes.
You know, and as your pursuit of education goes on, you're just more curious about everything.
I am.
You need to get more curious about dick, though.
I should. I am curious about human beings in general.
Yes. This much effort into how make your next relationship like an experiment. Right?
That would not be
Analyze it and say to yourself, what am I not doing right? What is he not doing right?
Yeah.
And then tell them and talk about it. I'm going to bring someone on this show. I know someone that's going through a tough time emotionally, all this stuff. And normally I wasn't going to have him come on, but I'm going to actually have him come on the show. And I'm going to have this episode specifically for you and Tess, because this guy, he loves, he tells me I got issues about not liking myself and feeling like people don't want to be around me. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think this would be a great person to bring on for you, especially, and for Tess. Because the both of you,
I know Tess likes to do it too.
Yes,
yeah.
Without even knowing each other, both said, if I could have done this all over again, I would have been like a psychologist. You and her both.
Well, I would have been a general practitioner, and I don't know about psychologist, a general practitioner and a therapist.
Okay. Massage therapist?
No, I know. I have really small hands.
Even better.
That's what I say. Guys
People
love
have
that.
told me that I give no. You know how like men sometimes ask their women for massages? I give the worst massages because my hands are so small.
Well, first of all, it has nothing to do with the size of your hand. It's just you just don't really want to give them massage. That's all it comes down to.
You're probably right. Yeah, I don't like giving massages.
Yeah, I get that. You can have the smallest hands in the world. Trust me, I've been to a lot of places with small hands. They do have great massage. And the after party's wonderful too. But anyway, I gotta have this person come on because it's going to be a very emotional episode.
I totally think that's a great idea. Tess and I would love that episode.
So here's an example. This person went on to something that's offered through our insurance company. Mm-hmm. And you go on there and then they give you people that are therapists or whatever they are. And he said he's talked to 2 of them already. And one of them kind of like was looking in every direction other than at him. And kept asking, why do we feel that way? Why do we feel like everything was in the we instead of you? So he's getting angry about that. And then the other one was talking about himself. Well, this is what I do to correct these things. And this is what I would do to do. He says, I don't need you to tell me about what you would do. Well, just listen to me and help me cope with it and find me better ways. I don't need to know what you would do. So he's having trouble.
I think it's because therapists are taught that they're not supposed to lead their patients. But sometimes people want to be led.
Yes.
But you could preface it that this is what you think can be done, but it's up to you what you want to do.
Yes.
Because you can give advice, but the worst advice you can give is say, this is what you absolutely have to do. You have to do this right now. You can't do that to people, but you could say, I really think it's in your best interest if you do this or this. But you choose what you want to do from from whatever options.
Yeah, I think choices are great.
Yeah, because sometimes people don't know what the solution is or what potential solutions are. They don't see it. They're not, because of for whatever reason, emotional or interpretation or perspective. They don't understand what the solution is.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But we can't push people to the solution that we think is the right one for them.
Yeah, because what might work for somebody may not work for someone else, right?
Mm-hmm. Not only that, it's their life. If you are like pushing an advice on them or a solution on them, that then it in the end doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think therapists follow the book too much.
Led them down the wrong path. Yeah, therapists do follow the book too much. They need to help. Yeah.
The other thing is about therapists. I think I don't know how true this would be, and if you took a poll, but therapists that haven't gone through anything in their life that kind of said, oh, I just want to be a therapist and really had like a blue collar, like a blue ribbon lifestyle can't really relate to
therapists.
Yeah. They can't be therapists, right?
They can't be therapists.
Yeah. You got to have gone through I imagine that most people that want to be therapists went through something traumatic and now they want to help somebody.
Yeah. If anything, you should try to be a therapist for people who have had the same experiences as you.
Yes.
Because people listen more to people who have similar experiences.
Agreed.
Right? Who understand.
Yeah. And it feels like, because I had this conversation with him the other day and I tell him I have empathy for you because I suffer from anxiety too. And I'm not so high on myself either. I have self-esteem issues like everybody else. I just have sex more. That's what I told him. But honestly, he's like, I love talking to you because you're honest with me. You're very blunt with me. And I'm very blunt, and I tell him, you guys, this is what you need to do. And of course I say, this is what you need to do. He's never going to listen to me. This is his journey, right? But at least he appreciates what I'm telling him because I'm very honest about it because I lived it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having him on would be salvation to his soul because he is in dire need of listeners.
He's not suicidal, right?
No, he's not
Okay.
suicidal.
Okay.
But he's
good.
just sad. He's just unbelievably sad. And I just feel bad for him because he's such a good person and he's funny and he's quirky. And, you know, he's just, I'm going to ask if he'll be on the show.
Yeah, I know what it's like to be that way. Where you're like always sad on the inside, even
Yep.
though you present a happy exterior. Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know if like maybe he does do a little portraying, but he's also pretty upfront about it. And he does let people know, look, I'm really sorry. I'm suffering. You know, I'm suffering on the inside. He's really good at that. I just think that you and Tess would be great for him to talk to.
Sure.
It'd be a fun episode too. Like, and I don't mean it like fun, like, oh, we're gonna make
It'll
fun.
give us some other topic to talk about besides sex. Yeah.
Well, I'll bring that up.
Mhm. Of course you will.
I'm good at that.
Well, Brian, I don't even have to ask you. I already know what your love language is. And anybody who has listened to this podcast knows your love language. Words of affirmation is not the number one. The number one is physical touch.
Yep.
Number two is words of affirmation.
Absolutely.
And quality
100%.
time.
Yep.
And then probably acts of service after that.
Yep. 100%.
I don't even know what you got on your test, but I'm almost like 100% sure that's what you got.
Yes. 100%. I completely agree with you. I am a very touchy-feely person.
Yeah.
And I need you to be, you know, like, how was your day? You know, that I don't want to answer the question, but I want you to ask the question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want you to act like you care,
Mm-hmm.
right? I completely agree with you, Monica. Yes.
It's good we're brother and sister, Brian.
Yes.
Because you and I think you would kill me.
I would have left you so long ago, Monica.
Yes.
Because you are the most unaffectionate, emotionless person ever. I used to complain
died.
at movies.
You would have shriveled up and died like a dry flower.
Exactly. Yes. I would have been squeezed between a book and found 30 years later.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
And then for Demetrius, I'm going to say that Demetrius's love language is
This is a tough
acts
one.
of service.
Is it acts of service?
I don't think Demetrius would appreciate somebody always telling him like, oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that.
No, I definitely don't think that either.
It's not words of affirmation. I'd say acts of service.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny listening to Monica talk. We're very much alike in our thoughts,
Agreed.
except
You don't like the milkman.
I don't know the milkman. I might like him.
I might like
know.
the milkman.
You seem to have a more education focused mind, and I'm more artsy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to create stuff.
Yeah,
artistically.
I don't need to do that. That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's interesting that you're like the Venn diagram is almost a circle except for like that one part where
Right.
like, I need art
Yes.
in some aspect, and you don't seem to need to create that.
No, Monica creates differently.
No.
Yeah,
I
Monica
don't.
creates through relationships and through friendships and stuff like that.
You and I definitely think alike. We're both very philosophical.
Yeah.
I always say, like, if I had lived 1,000 years ago, I'd probably be like as famous as Aristotle. But I was a woman, so I'd have to
Right.
pretend that I had a
Yeah.
male name or something. But I'd be like Aristotle. I love philosophy. I don't understand why I didn't take a minor in philosophy when I was in college, because I would have totally loved it. And I do like psychology.
hmm
I do, but I am afraid of being a psychologist. Like, that's why I want to be a therapist, not a psychologist, because I think when you become a psychologist, it puts you at too much of an advantage with people.
As far as like the medication aspect of it.
No, not the medication, because psychiatrists are the ones that give medication.
Oh, okay.
Psychologists are the ones that try to analyze you.
Oh, okay.
And I think it would be scary to know that much, to analyze every single person you meet. I don't want to analyze everybody. Therapist is a different story because you're kind of like just talking to somebody.
Right.
But when you're a psychologist, you're really analyzing, everybody's like their brain.
Mhm.
And I think I do not want to be a psychologist. And then eventually, if I have a relationship, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong that I'm overthinking it. Maybe I won't be like that.
Well, guys, I love you to death, but I got a kid downstairs that I got to go take care of. I think
Okay.
I've left her alone way too long.